Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Hal Lindsey Report. When the Lord called me to the prophetic ministry many decades ago, I knew that while the big news was good news, it was going to be carried in on an ever-increasing wave of bad news. The big news is that Jesus Christ is coming back and that he's coming back soon. I believe that many of those of the generation alive at the time that Israel became a nation in 1948 will still be alive at the coming of the Lord. That's the good news. But I reached that conclusion by watching the simultaneous appearance of the signs of the times, all of which are bad news events, such as earthquakes, famines, plagues, global weather pattern changes, ethnic strife, hot wars, cold wars, and the global rejection of biblical truth. These are signs that the Lord himself indicated would closely precede his return. They're not exactly things that are fun to look forward to and gleefully anticipate. The outline of Bible prophecy is a litany of travail and sorrow and pain that in the end brings forth a new existence so glorious that the pain and sorrow fade into irrelevancy. But that is then, and we are in the now. Knowing that all will be wonderful when we meet the Lord helps, but now is when the global economy is teetering on the edge of collapse. The Middle East is on the brink of exploding into potentially nuclear war, and Western civilization, oblivious, continues to slide into the abyss. But unfolding Bible prophecy is not doom and gloom. Any more than a woman going into the labor of childbirth is doom and gloom. Our fear is more analogous to the fear of major surgery. You know, it's necessary and it will improve your situation, but still, you know it's going to hurt. Prophecy is knowledge of future events. Knowledge has weight, and some knowledge is heavier than other knowledge. The end of the world as we know it is about as heavy as it gets. The knowledge imparted to students of Bible prophecy in this generation is almost crushingly heavy. I believe that's the reason the Lord promises a special crown to those who willingly shoulder his burden. In the grand scheme of things, very few Christians in these last days have been called as watchmen. Even fewer have responded to the calling. It's not for everybody. For some, it's too much. That's why watchmen are necessary to sound the warning of what's coming. God has set each of us in the place he wants us to be for this time in human history. That doesn't mean it's a pleasant place. We've had our pleasant times, but God in his wisdom, and for reasons known only to him, has called us, you and me, and others like us, as witnesses and as watchmen to warn of the coming judgment. He promises a special crown for us at the Bema seat. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8 reveals, in the future there's laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have loved his appearing. We're called as witnesses. We're to watch and observe and sound the warning to those around us who do not see the approaching danger. It's easy to become discouraged, frustrated, and even angry. It's natural, but it's part of a plan that the God of the universe has not only let you in on, he has included you as a necessary part, and there's great reward. While some think that Bible prophecy is all gloom and doom and dread, the fact that God laid it all out in advance means that while it may look like chaos, God has everything under his control. Besides, the purpose of Bible prophecy isn't to scare the faithful, it's to give them warning, but not just to the church. The real warning is for those who will be left behind when this age closes. So for those who love his appearing, there's a reason for getting a special crown, because it will involve some rejection persecution, and suffering. That is why, when I was called as a prophet and a watchman, I counted the cost. I knew something of what it would be. But then I said with Isaiah, "Here I am, Lord, send me." We all need to be like Moses when God called him to be Israel's deliverer from Egyptian slavery and take them to the promised land. As God describes it in his Hall of Fame, Hebrews chapter 11, by faith Moses, when he had become great, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to endure ill treatment with the people of God than to enjoy the passing pleasures of sin, considering the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking to the reward. You know, we all need to make a decision before God today. Do I consider the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of this world? Because I'm looking to the reward. We all need to answer that now. I'll be back after this message.